Can you say good morning to me? I'm very sad that my PowerPoint has not been shared, man. Every time you are very pakka, what happened today? I've been waiting for the past 15, 20 minutes for you to share so that I can start my class. Are you there? Or I'm working blind? Yeah. Good morning. As usual, we start with a very big smile. Let's see someone say good morning to me. Yeah, Malikarjun, good morning. Juniors are there. This is a seniors class, man. Never mind, you're welcome to join. Yes? Okay. Yaman, good morning. Please ask. I don't know. I'm not able to. Uh, Hi, Anu. Yeah. Today, I'm doing International Human Resources Management. All right? Yashaswini, good morning. Good morning, all of you. Good morning, Anu, Malay, Karjan, Yama. Yes, yes. I saw your smile. Nice, nice. Juniors class has not started. How come you all are here? Never mind, you're welcome to join my class. Yeah, there is some good news on the lockdown front, isn't it? Two of my classmates have started, they are opening they run their own organizations. One of my classmates has a gas agency, she's opening today. And another classmate of mine is a CA, she's also opening today. So I think one third or something. Yeah, to learn things, it's not junior or senior, isn't it? Yeah, great. Okay. Now, you're all welcome. All of you are my students, isn't it? I change my classes every year. The technical aspects have to remain the same, which is beyond me. But the case studies, everything, I tried my best to bring the latest case studies. So if you take my class this year, next year it's going to be different. So it's okay. It's really good. Consider. International Human Resources Management. Okay. HRM is a set of activities directed at attracting. Sepide, good morning. Good morning. Mariale, good morning. Have you shared the. Yes? Fawad, good morning. Great, great. Yeah, I think your PowerPoints are shared by now, so I can start. Yeah? I'm talking about International Human Resources Management. International Human Resources, or we'll talk about human resources. First of all, you must understand that when you talk about human resources management as a subject, it goes in a sequence of activities. You have to, okay, thanks, Varyali. Today is a Monday. I can't say Monday blues because we are having every day Sunday, no? Every day has been a Sunday. But then I know you all are fasting and all that. Okay, excuse me. So, done. Yes, yes. Okay. So, when you talk about human resources management, you're essentially talking about people. What kind of people? People who are going to be useful for your organization. How will they be useful? They are useful if they are qualified to do the work that your organization requires. So, there are certain things I have told you here. People being useful about people themselves, people being useful, and people being useful to the activities of your organization, which means people being effective. All right. See, anybody cannot be selected to work in any organization. A person should suit the place. If he doesn't suit the place, He has the necessary qualifications, but he doesn't have the aptitude for that job, nothing can happen. But you can create the aptitude with the right kind of training. So, training is also part of HRM. All right. And I'm not talking about training, once in a blue moon. I'm talking about continuous training. We say OJT, on the job training. People need to be monitored. So then they need to know whether they've done well. So there is something called self assessment. You have performance appraisal, different kinds of performance appraisal, where you have the 360 degrees, where everybody, your colleagues, your seniors, everyone, so is telling about you, so as you too, so that in the end it doesn't become a one-sided affair. Everyone has an opinion. If the opinion is all the same, or if the opinion is lopsided, what will happen? All right. It is very dangerous to have a one sided opinion, isn't it? Only one senior giving the opinion is not very comfortable and not very, pleasant, also, many times. All right. So, there are a gamut of activities in human resources management. They start from, see, I'll tell you, is a set of activities. HRM is the set of activities directing at attracting people. First of all, you have to attract them. You have to attract the right people. You need not attract anybody. Yeah. See, even when you attract a customer or a potential customer, there should be a potential customer. If someone is not looking for the product you're selling, what is the point? You know, what is the point of giving him a pep talk or a sales talk if he doesn't need the item, isn't it? I remember once, no, for example, say someone says, I want a bottle. What kind of bottle you want? Do you want a plastic bottle? Do you want a food grade bottle? Or do you want a bottle that can, excuse me, do you want a glass bottle? So there are various things. So after, he may want just a water bottle, water bottle for a child, and you're trying to sell him all kinds of bottles, so that you can keep milk in the fridge, you can keep juice in the fridge, all these kind of things you're selling, without asking him what he wants. He wants a simple water bottle for his child. Okay, so something like this. So the wrong, if you give a pep talk, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, everything, your effort, everything. So what happens is, you have to have in HRM, first of all, you have to attract the right people. If right people that are meant to work in your organization, right people, see, yes, what happens if you see in tier 2 cities, people have a sort of a, compared to big cities, sort of a laid back lifestyle. Laid back in what way? Laid back in the way, see, there is no traffic, there's no traffic. So, like my office is at a distance of 15 minutes. I can cover 8 kilometers in 15 minutes because there's no traffic. So that kind of laid backness. Whereas for us, 8 kilometers take 1 hour in Bangalore many times. So you go 1 hour early. So something like this. Suppose from a tier 2 city they come to Bangalore and say, oh my God, suddenly you find you have no time. We Bangaloreans are used to spending 2 hours every day on the road. A tier 2 city person may say, I don't want to spend 2 hours on the road. Good morning. I don't want to spend 2 hours on the road. I want to go back and work in my hometown. Why should I work here? The money is not attractive enough for the effort I'm putting in. So there you're attracting the wrong kind of people. Then next, in HRM, you're developing. How do you develop? OJT, on the job training, or classroom training. There are various kinds of training which we will, go through. And then you have to maintain the workforce. How do you maintain? Compensation. monetary compensation, non-financial incentives, all this kind like medical facilities, maybe housing, maybe educational this thing for children, all this. So why do you have all this? Attract, maintain, develop, etc., so that the workforce becomes effective enough to achieve a firm's objectives. Go to the next slide. So HRM, first I'll talk a little bit about HRM. We'll see that it contains a gamut of activities, and we will put in place in our mind that this has to be done in HRM, and then we will go and see how international HRM is different from normal HRM. Is that clear? HRM includes recruiting and selecting two kinds of people, managers and non-managers. Sometimes um, we say non-technical and technical people, or we say white-collared people and blue-collared people, something like this. Is that clear? Recruiting and selecting, so you have to recruit. How are you going to recruit? You have to look at the sourcing, different sources of recruiting and all that. Then you have to select them, go through the procedure, and then providing training and development for non-skilled and skilled people. There are two kinds of this thing: training, simple basic training, and then development. You are already trained, but you need to do better, and then that essentially means development. It doesn't actually mean only senior managers or managerial position people are developed. Everyone needs to be developed. And then if you're already trained and then you need to do better, or you become intrapreneurial, then that essentially means development. Then you have to do assessing, appraising performance, and providing compensation and benefits. This is a gamut of HRM. Now we'll see how domestic HRM and international HRM is different. Now, in business activities, you have taxation. Look there, the next slide: international relocation, expatriate remuneration, performance appraisal, cross cultural training, and repatriation. See, here, all this has to be taken care of by HRM. Please remember, international HRM means crossing borders, going to a strange country and staying there, working in a strange country, working with different people, and then staying in a strange country. So, living with strangers, working with strangers is no joke. That is why HRM should make sure that HRM should make sure that the country or the people or the organization, the subsidiary in the of our organization in that country, doesn't seem what we call strange. It shouldn't be strange, it should be familiar. So whatever goes into all this, to make that strangeness into familiarity is what HRM needs to do. All right, we will go into this. It's a little too early to go deep into this, but remember that all this is there. Whereas in domestic HRM, you do not have international relocation, that is, people going from one country to the other, settling there, and then taking your spouse and children, seeing whether your spouse is comfortable. Maybe you have to get your spouse a job, and then also children have to be settled in schools, whether the standard is compatible, or the kind of education given them is compatible to the education they've got before. Language, learning the language problem, all this will be there. Expatriate remuneration. Expatriates should get a remuneration commensurate to the foreign country, as well as they should get a remuneration in the domestic country. Now, there also comes the question of paying taxes in the country of operations, that is the foreign country. Will you afford, or can you give pay taxes there? If you have to pay taxes, will you work or will you run about making your taxes? Should the organization not take care of the taxation issues? So HRM has to do that also. Then performance appraisals, we already know. Then cross-cultural training. This I will deal with in a later slide in a greater way. And then repatriation, when they come back from the expatriates. When they go there and settle there, they become expatriates. When they come back, they become repatriates. And what are the issues they are facing? See, when I was in Kuwait, I was an expatriate. And when I came back to India, I was a repatriate. What were the problems we faced? You know, there are typical problems a repatriate faces when you come from a foreign country to an Indian country and to back to India. All right, though you have your family, though you have, there are many things that have changed, especially in our country. Over the past 20 years, there have been magnanimous, marvelous changes. All right. So people who have left the country about 30 years ago still live in that 1980s world, 1980s, or previously. And then it's a different world out here. I remember someone was telling, an Indian was telling me, someone close to me, when he went to the United States, he lived with, because it's very expensive to live in a hotel, he lived with close, somebody related. And then that lady was telling with the wash basin, you use the liquid hand wash. This is liquid hand wash and this is that. See, the funny part is the lady who had left in 1970 doesn't even realize how much India has progressed. So if that lady comes and stays in India, what is going to happen? The banking systems, your credit card, can you get a credit card? And you're not young either. Can you, there are various things, and then India has progressed so much. We may not understand what India is going through, how we Indians live. We are a sophisticated lot, and all this is there, but I'll talk about it little by little. Now look at this increased complexities, HRM managers have to take international HRM managers have to take care of this currency fluctuations, foreign HR policies. When you look at, see, we are all savvy with the Indian labor laws, but when you go to a new country of operations, what are the labor laws there? What do the labor laws there say? What is the minimum wage to be given there? All right, let us say an Indian firm goes into Romania. So the international HRM manager should, though he's savvy with Indian labor laws, should get savvy with the labor laws of Romania also. And if there are any other laws that he has to abide with, some countries say local people have to be given jobs. So it's a fine thing provided the local people are capable of doing the jobs. Then what kind of jobs are you going to give them? What kind of jobs will you give to Indians, for example? Bahar, good morning. Yeah, Farhad, good morning. Okay, so all these things happen. All right. Then currency fluctuations, foreign HR policies and practices, different labor laws. Then look at this. Now this slide is a very good, useful slide for you. If a question comes and you have to answer major differences between HRM and IHRM, use this slide. uh, See, when you may have in a domestic HRM, you may have a personal file on a employee, but you do not involve so much deep into his personal life. You have a personal file, you know his wife's name, his dependents, how many children he has, etc. But there you get personally involved. For example, you send an employee to, say, Romania, and his wife is working in a bank here, and she naturally, imagine she wants to go, or maybe she doesn't want to go. How will your employee survive in Romania? If he takes his wife, how will he survive there? If he doesn't take his wife, how will he survive there? If he takes his wife, he requires a bigger housing facility. If he takes his children also, bigger housing. Otherwise, a smaller housing facility may be sufficient. According to his status, also we have to see, maybe a smaller may be sufficient. If he doesn't take his wife and children, he may need sufficient leave to come back, often and meet his family. What does often mean? Is it once in 6 months? Is it once in 3 months? All this has to be taken. Suraj, good morning. Yeah, all this has to be taken care of. If he's traveling and so often, and he requires, when he comes here, say, I need 10 days at least, and who's going to manage his work in Romania for 10 days? Is there a second line of defense? If there are 10 people from India working in Romania, are they going to take turns coming back to India to meet their families? Are all the are you as a company able to maintain all 10 people and their families in Romania? Is your firm that big enough? So something like this, all this, you get increased involvement in a person's in a employee's personal life. Suppose say Mr. A is sent to Romania from India, and his wife is working in, say, State Bank of India. It's a prestigious bank, and you say, okay, you may have to be get involved and say that there are banks there and she can get a job there, and you may have to give a letter saying she has come from India and she was working, and she may take a letter from State Bank of India saying I was working there and all. And will she be comfortable in that bank? Will she be get a job first of all in that bank? State Bank of India, our banking systems are very sophisticated. Will the same sophistication be there there? Will she be disappointed? Or will she not? It can be the opposite way also. May not be able to cope also. I doubt it. We can cope. But what I'm saying is, these are the issues. And then you have to get involved. The employee may suddenly come and say, my wife's unhappy. I want to go back. Or he may say, my children are not getting the education standard that I got in Bangalore. I want to go back. So there is a personal involvement in the employee's life, personal life, as compared to HRM. Also, then voter registration. Suppose there is there are elections in the country. Should he come back to vote? It is mandatory to come and vote. But given the business's commitments, how will you arrange? Suppose all 10 are Indians working in Romania and all 10 want to come. Are you going to give a public holiday? For how many days are you going to close your firm? These are issues that you have to think about. Housing for the person, children's education, health, recreation. They may say, I know nobody, I cannot speak Romanian. So how can I go out? How can I meet people? My children cannot play with the Romanian children because they don't understand each other. You know, there's something like this. Spouse employment also we have to take care, as I explained. Complex employee mixture. When you go to Romania, you will have local people, Romanians working there, isn't it? Romanians also compulsorily you'll have. You may have other third country nationals. Host country nationals will be Romanians. Home country nationals would be Indians. Third country nationals would be anyone else. Let's say someone from Slovakia is working in Romania, and they have their own cultures and all. So diversity, cultural diversity is one big issue that you have to face in international HRM. All right. Then you have complex employee mixture, cultural, political, religious, ethnical, not ethical. It is ethical also is possible, because what is considered right in some cultures is considered wrong in other cultures, and vice versa. Then educational and legal background. All right. Then there might be some employees in, say, in that country who are who say, "Don't you even bother to call me? on Saturday and Sunday. It's a holiday means it's a holiday. I'm disappearing. All right. Whereas if you look at the Indian background, we say even on Sunday, would you come to work, please? And we say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and we go to work. We are like that. Whereas if you see in some Western cultures, if they say Friday, they'll work Monday to Friday extremely hard, and Saturday and Sunday you can't access them at all, not even receive your calls unless they are in maintenance, and maintenance always has to keep their phones on, if it's a factory and all that. So where are we like that? Increased risks. Example, emergency exits for serious illness. Suppose your employee is working in Romania, his mother is sick in India, he has to come immediately. Then you have to arrange for his exit from the country. Then visa for re-entry. And what kind of visas are there? Is it a resident permit? Is it a visitor's permit? There are different kinds. Got up now? Good morning, Gaurav. Yeah. So various things are there. And all this you have to, personal security of the employees, you know, and then kidnapping, terrorism. Yesterday, I was reading an article on BBC where Daniel Pearl, the journalist who was researching terrorism, was killed in Pakistan. I think it is 17 years now. His son Adam must be 17 now. He wasn't born. And then now, how his parents are. Good morning, Gangadhar. Yeah, how his parents have given an appeal for the so-called killers of Daniel Pearl. I think they're being acquitted or something like that. I'm not very sure about what they said, but I didn't read the. It was too painful to read the whole article about what was happening. But this man was beheaded in Pakistan, and a video of his throat being cut and head being severed was sent to his people. It seems. Now, these kind of things, as a journalist, what about other business people? When you see a foreigner is more attractive as a hostage for a person creating terror, right? Nagraj, good morning. Yeah, old student, no man. Yeah. So all this will happen. Okay. So this is also HRM's concern. Do you think a domestic HR manager has to do all this? If it's an international HR manager only. So this particular slide is very important when you talk about it. It not only gives you major differences, it will give you an understanding of everything that goes on in international HRM. There is more also about this. See, what is global and what is international? See, global is not, look at this. This is some things that are very necessary. Global doesn't mean international. All right. Global means, I told you, a global product is accepted in the same form everywhere in the world. When you eat pasta, you want it in the, okay, you want Italian food, and so you want it in the Italian form, say. But here, as I was telling you, once I went to Domino's Pizza, in the course of doing research for my PhD, and I had, of course, I know how to make pizza. So naturally, I know that you use the tomato sauce and the pizza sauce, whatever sauces you use, and the flavors are already there. So it doesn't make sense like you dunk your finger chips or french fries into sauce and eat. You don't need to dunk your pizza or splash tomato sauce on your pizza and eat. So I asked the manager, what is the sauce bottle doing on the table? There were sauce bottles on every table. So the manager said, ma'am, in India, it is necessary for us to make it was a feel good factor for the Indians, customers who come. Okay, it was a feel good factor. If you do not keep, like the same way as my favorite example, if you go to a small hotel as you go to your hometown, you may sit down and you may have a waiter coming with three glasses, with three fingers dipped in the three glasses. You will not say yuck, but you'll say, oh wow. Why? Because you're hungry. The waiter coming with three glasses, three glasses means you're noticed and you get your food. So the you may not drink the water and he may not expect you to drink that water either. But what I'm saying is you are happy that you're being noticed. Same thing happens with the sauce bottle concept. When you have a sauce bottle on the table, people says, okay, this table is ready for me. A sauce bottle, tomato sauce bottle, a green chili sauce bottle, or salt and pepper, tissues, and a bottle of water. These are all things that the customer feels that, oh, I'm someone that I'm welcome here, and then I will order. So, and even he says you may, some of them do splash the tomato sauce on the pizza and eat. So, because if I don't keep the sauce bottle, they'll say you're ignoring me. So there are various connotations for this, okay? So here we have global versus international. I'll give you in my next slide, you will see one matrix about what are the different, it will give you correctly what is the difference between an MNC or a transnational, okay? TNC and an MNC, going international, going global organization, all this is there. Please understand, a global product is, for example, Swiss chocolates. You want to eat Swiss chocolates as Swiss chocolates only. You can't, like pizza, you can't have makhani pizza. Makhani pizza would be having your makhani curry on the pizza. Maybe it's the idea to eat it, but basically, pizza should be is accepted in the pizza form, Italian pizza form, isn't it? So a global product is a product that is accepted in the same form all over the world, whether it's an Indian or an African or American or North India or South India. It is accepted in the same form. Uh, a very good example for me is Yashaswini. Hi, Ma. A very good example for me to give you is this one. Excuse me. A very good example is idli vada. You want to eat idli vada and sambar, chutney and sambar in the same form. You don't want to dunk your idlis in some other curry and eat. That's a global product. According to me, idli vada, chutney and sambar is a global product. I have eaten it in restaurants in Kuwait, and then I say, is it same like what I ate in Bangalore or something like that, or Bangalore, or something like this? Okay, so a global product is not an international product. An international product is customized to meet people's expectations. A global product is not, because it is the I told you, ethnocentric orientation. It is accepted that that particular place, for example, the idli vada sambar, they serve it in the same place. They take would-be cooks to, even if it is Delhi, it is would-be cooks who cook there, because they say our ethnic idli sambar is what is accepted by everybody. We'll give them the ethnic idli vada sambar. This is called ethnographic orientation. We have this orientation with IKEA. Okay. Globalizing means stateless. You see this myth too. See, myth two is global strategy means doing same thing everywhere. Not necessary at all. Third, stateless corporate. I'm not talking about a global product here. It's a global strategy. Globalizing means stateless corporation. No, you have to look at the labor laws, all the laws of the host country as well as the country of operations. Globalization requires abandoning country images and values. Not necessary at all, but sometimes, it was, I think, ages ago. that Asian Paints went as APCO in Australia because that Asian word was not very acceptable in Australia. Now we don't know currently what it is. It was some years ago that I read this example. Sometimes made in a particular country may not be acceptable to some people. They're worried about, there might be some news item about a country, and what happens, all right, that news keeps on, vibrating and all that. This country may not be clean, this happened in this country, etc. All right. So, for example, Goan people from Goa, state of Goa, has rejected fish from Mangalore because of some chemical content, they say, and that to go take that. Say Karnataka has strived to take away that myth and gossip from the state of from the minds of Goa. But still, once there is a newspaper article, it remains in the mind. And for example, if I were in Goa and I were to go and find out buy fish, I'd say, is it from Mangalore? Is it from here? Is it from there? Something like this. So there are reverberations and repercussions about some news items and all that. So sometimes it becomes necessary to imagine to abandon things. Globalization means tackling on acquisitions or alliances. No, not necessary. You don't. Not necessary that you take over or you have an alliance with some other countries. Organization. You can go in straight away. I told you modes of entry. You can go in as export oriented, just export, or you can go into any other form. I'll tell you what other form you can go. I explain here. A strategy involves sales and operations in another country. Not necessary. It involves in our country as well. Now, this you see. The previous slide you can ignore. It is not really necessary. It was only for explaining the just the previous slide. The slide previous to that is very important. Strategies of international note. We are talking about international corporations, multinational corporations, global and transnational corporations. Say an international company transports its business outside its home country. Where does it do? It manufactures in the domestic country and takes the abroad. Each of its operation is a replication of the company's domestic experience. All right, structured geographically and involves subsidiary general managers. For example, you start with simple exporting. Let us say we are going to export something to Slovakia from India. You manufactured something in India. You found someone in Slovakia to buy your product or to distribute there. So you sent it to him and a consignment, and you got your money. Now, when you understood that your product is liked in Slovakia, very much liked, you'll go and establish one organization there. You'll start a subsidiary there. You may even start manufacturing there, but it will be replication of the country's domestic performance. You say, I made mango jam. They liked it very much in Slovakia. So I will maybe buy the mangoes there or buy the mangoes here or take the mango pulp from India, whatever, and manufacture same way that you're manufacturing here because they like the same product. This is the international company. Then company offering multiple products often find it challenging to remain organized. That is, need to have a common information systems for accounting, financial and management controls and marketing. So what do they do is, uh, you know, to do the same way that they do in domestic country in that country is not easy. Why? It's like real time systems you have to do, and it's not simple. Like you cannot take decisions for the Indian operations and Slovakian operations same time. They may be sleeping in one country. It may be early morning. They have not yet come into the office. whereas you are at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Something like that. Time difference may happen. So many things may happen. And then discussions over the internet may not be so fruitful, something like this. So it becomes necessary to develop and go sophistication into the next step, and that would be your multinational company. A multinational company grows and defines its business on a worldwide basis, but continues to allocate its resources among national and regional areas to maximize the total. How you procure, how you distribute, all this is common for a multinational organization. Suppose you're working in 10 different countries, everything is centralized, but it is managed. There are also local people who take the necessary decisions, but the main decisions may be by the headquarters. So next you go on into global organization. It treats the entire world as though it were one large country. Entire company or one or more of its product lines may operate with a mixture of two or more organizational structures simultaneously. See, now I'm going to go ahead and tell you different organization structures when you go international, multinational, etc. That time you'll understand better. But understand one thing: international company graduates to a multinational company, graduates to a global organization, and then it goes the highest form in international business. The company's form is the transnational organization. Used specialized facilities to permit local responsiveness. See, I told you, even IKEA, ethnographic orientation, it came into the world with the idea that the Swedish furniture is the best in the world. And they found that it was accepted as such for a long time, except when they started going into the North America. When they started going to North America, I told you, in North America, their cups, their plates were larger than those in Europe. So their cups and plates and their beer decanters, maybe their decanters, their cups, their glasses wouldn't fit into the cabinets, that kitchen cabinets that IKEA provided. The kitchen cabinets, the shelves that IKEA provided, the modular ones, whatever IKEA, were not able to contain, or you couldn't keep your cup properly in that, in the shelves that IKEA provided. Why? The European cups, plates, etc., were smaller in size as compared to American plates and cups and glasses, etc. You understand? So that is why what happens is IKEA decided, even the under the bed you have storage facility. The storage facility of IKEA did not have enough space. The storage facility of IKEA beds did not have enough storage space, was for the quilts that the Americans wanted to store. Americans wanted to store quilts in their under the bed drawers, that you pull out and you store it. Whereas the Europeans wanted to store their lingerie in the under the bed, whatever storage space you have. So the Americans found that there was no sufficient space, and the sales became less. Then, for the first time, IKEA decided to customize for the North America crowd, and they started with making the drawers under the bed 2 inches more, so that the quilts would go in, and then the sales picked up. So these are the various things that local responsiveness. Uh, Local responsiveness is permitted in a transnational organization. More complex coordination mechanism to provide global integration. See, I want to continue and tell you one thing. If you see, KFC is not basically spicy chicken. The chicken that KFC offers as a so-called outside crunchiness of the chicken and all has no spices. Basically, very less spices. But in India, they've gone like, and then you have spicy chicken legs. Well, I've not eaten. I'm not a great KFC fan. Um, Not a chicken fan. I'm basically now more of a vegetarian, and I enjoy it. enjoy all the lovely vegetables we get in our country, thanks be to God. So fresh vegetables, the greens and all are more tastier and healthier, I guess. So the what happens is, um, here, mm, in transnational organization, all the products, whichever product are suited to that country. You have spicy chicken legs, and you have, I don't know what this one, but all in all, you can see, for example, KFC has been responding to the taste palette of the Indian crowd by giving spicy chicken, etc., etc. They're competing with the traditional chicken kebabs of our country. You want to go to a chicken kebab center, or you want to go to spicy chicken at KFC. That's where they used to, they used to lose out on the spiciness. Competing with the spiciness was not there. Now this is one way they're trying to compete with the yes, spicy chicken legs versus the Indian chicken kebab. Okay, and look at this. This is a very beautiful. You have to remember this next slide. You have to remember this matrix. You see global efficiency and local responsiveness. On the x-axis, you have local responsiveness, and on the y-axis, you have global efficiency. Now you know that towards the zero, it is low. As you go towards the right on the x-axis, it is high. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, on the y-axis, as you go on, it is high, which means at the first, in the matrix that I've shown you, in the first column, you have the least global efficiency and the least local responsiveness. And which one is there in that cell? The cell which has least global efficiency and least local responsiveness belongs to an international company. So you'll understand that as you step out into the country of operations, possibly, not possibly, always, this is the first, when a domestic company goes and starts its first subsidiary. I'm not talking about already who are established and going into another new country. Then this is the way you go international, international company where both global efficiency and local responsiveness are less. Then you have to, next we'll go on the y-axis where global efficiency is high. But local responsiveness is low. All right, local responsiveness is low, but global efficiency is high, and there in that cell you have the global company. Let us come to on the x-axis to the right. You have high local responsiveness, but global efficiency is low. Global efficiency is low, but local responsiveness is high. Such is a multinational company. And the final one on the right side, where both the global efficiency and local responsiveness is high, is the transnational company. So you must understand that multinational company uh, graduates or gets itself a new kind of sophistication when and becomes a transnational company. Examples are Unilever, Procter and Gamble, as conglomerates, I'm saying. Then you have the automobile companies like Ford, Honda, etc., etc. Toyota, yeah, how can you forget Toyota, etc., etc. Then you have many other companies. All right. Now, if you see BMW, local responsiveness and global efficiency both are high. It started with an international, global. This one, I would like to say BMW was more on global efficiency rather than on local responsiveness because it is an ethnocentric kind of company. Now it is a transnational company because it has local responsiveness and global efficiency. It responds to what the Indian customer wants. It doesn't say we are the best. Germans, we are the best in automobile manufacturing, so here is our car. They are manufacturing in India as well. As I told you, they have a manufacturing facility in Chennai, in India. Then we come to the next one. Now, here it's about 45 50 minutes. What I want you to go out of it and go into the selection international assignment PowerPoint that I've given to you. Go to the second slide. See, this slide, uh, see, class, I started with telling you that we are dealing with international human resources management. Then I started by telling you that what is HRM? HRM is a gamut of activities starting from recruitment to developing, etc. Just to make you understand what we are going into. All right. Then I told you how international HRM is different from domestic HRM. Now I will go step by step into. I may ask you to flip the slides, etc. Whatever I think you require to study in international HRM, I've given in the slide. But I may go because sequence wise, I want to start. So I would go into attracting first. All right. How do you attract? But sometimes I cannot confine myself into one activity because it just somehow slips or gets entangled into another activity. When I talk about attracting, I may talk about recruitment or selection, or I may talk about development also. So you have to bear with me in that. But basically, I'll try to go step by step. So look at this. Uh, it's a pyramid. The language skills are on top. What are this? This is what an employee who goes as an international employee requires. These are the skills required by a employee. Why am I showing you these skills? Because if you can attract somebody like this, it is excellent. Suppose I'm going to Slovakia, Indian firm going to Slovakia. I find that, say, I'm going into food business. I'm going to start a restaurant in Slovakia, Indian restaurant, would be restaurant with idli, vada, sambar, all the vegetarian stuff. And instead of taking cooks, I want to take cooks and people from India there, maybe waiters from Romania, but the cooks naturally will be from India, Karnataka, Bangalore, or Udupi. So I find that some particular restaurant there, Indian restaurant, has shut down. So this cook is about to pack his bags and come to India. If I can catch him, why not? Why? Because he has lived there, say, for 5 years. He already knows how to live there. He's settled about his family and all. He already has made decisions whether his family is with him. Maybe his family is with him or they are in India, but they're already settled with their decisions of relocation. He knows how to deal with his finance issues, etc., etc. Instead of HRM as an international HRM manager going into all that, is it better not to catch him there and attract him to be the cook for your new restaurant? It would be nicer, isn't it? Maybe one existing restaurant also you may try to take somebody that is also there. And, I'm not going to talk about the ethical issues of head hunting, right? Is that what it is called? Head hunting. Okay, here we are. Okay, so these are the skills that you're looking for in an employee whom you want to go to work in a foreign country in your subsidiary. See, language skills naturally. Language is a great integrator, right? The minute I had a student, I told you, I think once, he and his brother were in a lift in one of the universities in the United States and they were happily talking Kannada and pretty loud, I think. That's what he said. Yeah, so because it's like they were purposely doing it, saying so that no one understands. let us talk our language, something like that, proud to be Kannadigas, let's talk, this kind of thing. And when the lift stopped, two people in the lift of about 15 people, they said something in Kannada, Hog Bartivi, Chanagittu, or something like that, So, language is a great binder. I was seeing, there is this, say, a movie, South Indian movie, and the location is somewhere in North India. So the first thing they say, Kannadiga, or Tamilian, or Keralite, or Telugu. Okay, then we are friends, bye bye. And, language is a great binder, or maybe Hindi you speak, isn't it? So, language skills, social intelligence. What is social intelligence? How to live, how to meet with people, how to survive in any society. There are many skills you require to live in society, isn't it? You have to pay your bills also. So, this is social intelligence. All right. Ability to deal with conflicts. How many of us have the ability to deal with conflicts in a mature way? There are ways in which we can just fight on the road, people, the road rage, isn't it? I remember once I was approaching, um, you know, I was approaching Central College. I used to work in Central College then. The signal opened for us I was coming from Vidhan Sauda, from MS building. So I just moved forward. I was driving my car. I was moving forward. From the right, the signal had stopped and people were supposed to stop. People had stopped. But a scooter with two guys was speeding. And, they seemed to be very angry. How come I didn't stop for them and I didn't see them? So I found it funny. They were angry. I found it funny. Why? Because they were wrong and they're angry at me. I found it funny. I just laughed, and those guys realized it's their mistake and they laughed too. Otherwise, they were all getting ready to, have a fight with me. Whereas I was pretty innocent in that because we teachers were very particular about stopping at every signal and never jumping the signal because we have students to answer to, isn't it? Our students will say, "Ma'am, you jumped. How about me? You're asking me. What ethical, moral comfort do I have asking my students, you jump the signal when I have jumped it myself? Well, I never jump a signal. That's my policy." So I was laughing, and then the whole situation mitigated. Sometimes we create conflicts out of nothing. We just, who are you? Who are you? Do you know who I am? These are the things we fight with. So, should you have an employee who gets angry at the drop of a hat, or should you have an employee who can quietly, listen? Sometimes it's necessary to listen when someone shouts. Let them vent their anger and then calm down. Maybe I taught you about the story about three ostriches. If you have forgotten, you let me know. Then I'll tell you again how each of these ostrich brothers used to tackle issues and what really happened. You know. And so if you have forgotten, you let me know. I will tell you again. Okay. So no methodology is wrong. Contextually, you have to employ every methodology. You can't bend your head all the time. You can't be quiet all the time. You can't raise your voice all the time, isn't it? There are ways to attract. Some people attract conflicts. Do you want an employee like that, or do you want someone who can mitigate the conflicts? Isn't it? Then flexibility. People who are not adaptable and flexible, you cannot send them on an international assignment. If they say, there was this lady I met, I think she was from Hyderabad, and she was saying, I went to Canada, ma'am, to present a paper. And I told them I'm a vegetarian. So the morning breakfast was always cake and juice. They didn't know what to give her for as a vegetarian. Eggless cake and juice, you know. So it wasn't well compared to our very nice, yummy idli vada. Uh, the cake and juice is, okay, cake and juice is nice, but not in the morning and not every day, right? There's nothing wrong with cake and juice. So here we are. Then these are the various things. See, I have spoken for almost an hour. I think after 11 you'll have other class. I want maybe many of you have not had breakfast also, and I've continuously spoken. I also want to, go slow because I want you to understand what I'm trying to say. Flexibility is very important in a employee who's going abroad. You have to have a lot of patience. Suppose your flight is delayed. Suppose you don't get what you want. See, a hungry man is an angry man. Yeah. So, not man or woman. Anyone who doesn't get enough food will not be very happy. So, travel and you remember home, you're missing your home, and you don't have a warm stomach. All these are issues which raise your anger. So, a lot of flexibility. And do you need to train people in flexibility? Do you need to train people how to manage conflicts? Are you going to, exasperate the conflicts or make them less? All this. Um, you know, I'll give you some examples tomorrow. I wanted to do this slide, but I think it's becoming a little heavy. I've been speaking and speaking myself. I'll come back to you on Thursday and I'll explain more of international HRM here. But please remember, when I talk about HRM, it's not just about HRM. I cannot. I have to intertwine it with other like international marketing maybe or customizing a product maybe. So some things like this I have to talk. But before I stop class, I have to tell you one thing. I knew a man who was working in Muscat for a very famous clothing brand. See, I remember when I was young, I mean younger, I'm still young. When I was young, I remember these banks, our nationalized banks, when they had a branch abroad, say in a place like Kuwait, they used to send a manager there for 2 years. He used to come back, a new manager used to go for 2 years like that. This was supposed to be a plum posting, going abroad for 2 years and coming back, giving the plum posting opportunity to another man coming back. This was the done thing. But later on, they discovered that plum posting apart, if you send a new person every 2 years, you're spending a lot of time and effort on training the second person, on training the second person. And when he gets really comfortable and he has developed his contacts, you're bringing him back and you're sending another person. So, see, a bank manager has to garner uh, investments also, isn't it? People should get comfortable and happy with him and say, okay, this man is good, his bank is good, let me deposit my money here. And when they get real comfortable, this fellow is saying, Tata, bye bye, I'm going back to India, someone else is coming, my 2 years are up. So this thing should not have happened, isn't it? So even I remember my brother-in-law used to work for Indian Bank. He was shot by Punjab terrorists way back in '87 July. Uh, so when he was in Karwar and Goa, since he was a Christian and Goan people are mostly Catholic, he was also a Catholic and spoke Konkani. There was so much affinity that I remember he had garnered deposits um, about 6 or 700 times more than what the previous manager had managed. This was, I was saying, one is language affinity, one is maybe religious affinity. This is all part of culture. I should not be talking about religion, but the very fact that he spoke Konkani made it a very big factor. So, what I'm trying to say is that when you know a person and you become familiar with a person, and you start trusting a person. So before, in banks, they used to send, as I told you, plum posting. You've done something well, you've done good for the bank, you're a good employee. Okay, take the plum posting, go enjoy yourself for 2 years, of course, with extra benefits of monetary benefits also, and come back. This used to happen. But later on, this, if you see the case of this clothing brand manager, he was there, he went there, and then they wouldn't change him because he had already developed his contacts. So he stayed there till his retirement. He was doing very well. The company was very happy, and they made him stay there because he had learned the local language. He could speak to the local people, also the local Indians who were there. They knew him, and they became like, Pali. You come to my house for a party, I come to your house for a party, and then I meet you at the party. You're the manager of that. Hey, I want a new suit. Or this fellow will, you tell him, hey, I want a new suit, and this fellow will say, yes, come, I will fit you with a new suit. You want a suit for your this function, I can equip all of you men. It was a clothing brand for men. Or he's gone to a party and says, listen, one new brand of suits have come from India, and they are very good. They're the latest. Why don't you also? He sells, naturally. They say, yes, he may not be, he's not lying because we know him. He's come to our party. His wife and children are also with us. They are wearing the same clothes. And but so this kind of affinity was there. So as opposed to sending to for 2 years and bringing back, people started understanding the value of developing cultural affinity and familiarity with the place in which you go. So international human resources management changed its outlook. All right, they began to research and find out what is really necessary, and they did it. Is that clear? So here we are. Okay. I think I'll stop now because it's becoming a monologue, and I don't want to keep on saying it. Class, it has been a nice fun. Thank you for listening in. I'll say bye now. I'll meet you, whether seniors and juniors. Yes, knowledge is for everybody. I stand corrected. Who corrected me? No problem. Okay. I only wish you all the best. Stay happy. Stay cheerful. Give me a big smile. All right. God bless all of you. Just because shops have opened doesn't mean we run to the shops and say, okay, bye bye, Corona. No, don't do it. Let's have some, common sense in going out. Let's have a very prudent sense. Yes, Sapire, thank you. Let's have some prudent sense in going out. Unless required, do not go out. Do not go out because India is a free country. Every country is a free country. India is a great country. It's a free country. That doesn't mean you have to run out. Right? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your smiles. Yeah, doesn't mean you have to run out. I say, oh, I miss my walk. I miss my power walking and all that. You can do your power walking at home. Please remember, the danger has not yet abated. The government has, uh, the government has made it, opened up because of livelihood, and there are reasons. That doesn't mean if unnecessary you go out. Okay. Okay. See, about your project, first you must speak to the head of the department and confirm from him. I would like the CR, one or two of you who do it, to talk to the head of the department and confirm from him whether you can do it on, you know, freelance, because the regulations say that you have to do it in a company. Since this coronavirus is something that we cannot do anything about, you must confirm from him whether you can do it in a company, whether you have to do it in a company or you can do freelance. If you can do it freelance, then you tell me. In my next class, I will tell you what to do. I can give you ideas about how to do freelancing, your project, based on secondary data you can do. But first, it is instead of getting all this confusions and all that talking, and then something A becomes Apple, B becomes God knows what. Don't say anything. Okay, just please confirm from the head of the department, from the director, whether you can do it freelance or is it mandatory that you do it in a industry. Okay, once that is confirmed, then I'll tell you. All right, and don't worry about the time, time constraints and all that. We're all aware. Suraj, I know, man. I've been teaching MBA for 25 years. I was part of the team that made that regulations. It is exactly what I'm saying. Now, this is what you have said will lead to a lot of frightening reactions from people. This is exactly what I'm saying. Don't do. Okay? Don't just make comments. We know all of us can read. Yeah, all of us have the regulations, all of us have the syllabus, all of us can read. It's not necessary to say like this. The minute you say this, you are panicking a lot of people. As I said, you just find out the CR from the director whether it is mandatory that you do go to the industry. You think we are not wise enough to know that no organization will allow you? You think we don't know? We know, isn't it? Accordingly, we have to take a decision and we will help you. We are not here to trouble you, we are here to support you. We are facilitators, we teachers as facilitators. So, first we find that out and then we will work out the time limit. Excuse me. We will work out the time limits and then we will support you. All right. So please don't spread anything. Don't say this man, that man, and give anybody any panic. We know what is there. We are also aware of the lockdown, isn't it? Are you all the only people aware of lockdown? No, we know. So wait patiently. All right? And we'll deal with it step by step. Everyone has to do the dissertation. Each one of you has to do the decision. I'm very much aware. First, you find out, and then the time limit will be given to you, and everything will fall into place. There's nothing to panic and all that because why I'm saying this is I'm already getting a lot of messages regarding it. I really don't know, I don't want to answer one by one. So I'll answer when I do my class. Okay, find that out, let me know, and we'll go ahead. Okay, yeah, this is evident, isn't it? Okay, very good, very good. Don't panic. Don't panic. We are here to facilitate you. All right? Okay, then. I want to share a small joke with you. You know, there in the cartoon there is a cartoon character, Indian, basically, Shikari Shambhu. Have you seen that? Shikari Shambhu. So Shikari Shambhu, usually, he's not a brave man. So what happens to him is something by fluke, something happens, and Shikari Shambhu gets the claps. So one day something happens, and Shikari Shambhu is sitting on somebody's shoulders like this. He's sitting here, and his legs are like this, and that man is running, and Shikari Shambhu is with his gun. So there is a tree, and the branch is very low. So the person who is running with Shikari Shambhu says, duck, 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 meaning bend your head because this branch is going to hit you. And Shikari Shambhu says, where's the duck? Where's the duck? Because he wants to shoot the duck. And it's like this. So there we are. So when you say duck, it doesn't mean that where's the duck. Okay, this is just a small joke. Hope you liked it. Okay, then keep smiling, all of you. Okay, everything will fall into place. Everyone all over the world is aware that we have shut down. The Karnataka government is very, very proactive. They have shut down before the India government, 2 weeks before India government shut down, central government, we have shut down. We have managed the COVID-19 extremely well. So everybody is aware. Everybody is aware that your syllabus has gone back, etc., etc. Your semester has gone back. Whereas you foreigners, you also don't have to worry. You don't have to worry that your bank or wherever you're working is going to say you're supposed to come back now. Why you come back 3 months? No, 3 months later or whatever. You don't have to worry. The virus lockdown has been all over the world. It's not restricted to India or anything, isn't it? So there's nothing to worry. Everybody is in the same boat. We are sailing in the same big boat. So be cool, be calm. This is something that, see, you may say, oh, I should have done my MBA and gone back and got my increment and all that. Is it bigger than life? Is it bigger than family? If you have life, everything, isn't it? So first we have to, it has become to the point that we have to fight for our life. Then we will think about our livelihood. What is the point of having livelihood if we don't have life? Think about it. So life first, then livelihood. All right? Be strong. And don't run out today just because it's open. It's not for, because it's open. I'll have my power walk, I'll have my power yoga, do everything at home. Okay? Stand in one place and walk. It's a great exercise. Lift your feet and walk. Jog in one place. It's a very good exercise. I'll guarantee you that. Okay? Okay, bye. Be safe, be strong, no panicking. All right? We know what is happening in the world. Everybody knows. All the seniors are taking the decisions. Nothing to worry. All right? We have just slowed down for a month or two, but we are alive. All right? Life first, then livelihood. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.